Welcome back to my channel, everybody. As you can see, I've got two brand new locomotives here that I'm going to do a brief review on. I got an Athearn Ready to Roll SD40 in Gulfmobile in Ohio, road numbers 913 and 920. These are equipped with DCC and sound with the Tsunami Economy decoders. So as I unpackage the locomotive here, I'm going to unpackage number 913 first. Here's what the end of the box looks like. These have an MSRP of $199.99. You can get them for a little bit less. They both have the boxes are sealed. We'll just cut that seal. So again, check your local hobby shop if you want to get these a little bit less expensive than the MSRP. Initial impression here, this is typical Athearn packaging. We got a baggie full of some extra parts here. More baggies. Take a look at those here in a second. Outer blister packaging. Looks like these are just some foot rails for the front and rear of the locomotive. So the SD40 was really the predecessor to one of the more popular, or probably one of the most popular freight locomotives, the SD40-2s. The SD40s themselves were originally started to be manufactured in the 1960s by General Motors Electromotive Division. And over the course of the production of the SD40s, they ended up making 1,268 units total. Before we take it and do some testing on the layout, I just wanted to show you, here's just some of the paperwork that comes with the locomotive. Here is the warranty information from Athearn. Here is the parts list, so you can see it has the schematics. I'm not going to open this entire packet up, but it has the schematics for all of the parts. And then of course it also has the function mapping. So we'll run through this here when we get the locomotive on the layout and powered up. The SD40s were a very successful model. They really ended up replacing the SD35 locomotives that EMD produced. The original SD40s had the EMD 645 prime mover, which is the turbocharged 16-cylinder 3,000 horsepower prime mover. The two units that I purchased, Gulfmobile and Ohio numbers 913 and 920, were both manufactured in 1966, and they were phase 1A2 out of the production run from the Electromotive Division. The interesting thing about both of these locomotives, 913 and 912, they were both actually wrecked. 913 was involved in an accident in 1984. You can see by the picture here it was burned pretty significantly, and it was scrapped at that point. There were plans to repaint it in ICG colors, and that never happened because of the wreck. Number 920 was also involved in an accident, but this one was rebuilt, and it eventually became SD40-2, number 6034 for the Illinois Central. We'll just do some real quick spotting features in this locomotive here. So prototypically, this is all very correct based upon the images of the prototype photos that I could find online. You can see up top here it has firecracker antenna. It has a Leslie 5-chime horn. You can see all 5 of the different horn sizes. Sand filler, It does have the footrest or the foot stands with the receptacles for the MU hoses. You can see right down there, multiple MU hoses for consisting the locomotives. Just taking a little bit closer look here at the conductor side of or the fireman side of the locomotive. You can see battery box, air blower. The original fuel tank was a 35,000 or 3,500 gallon fuel tank. You can see up here we have the turbocharger exhaust, dynamic brake housing up here, sight gauge, and the fuel filler. Same on the back, the foot stands with the MU receptacles. This is a locomotive produced before ditch lights were mandatory, so there are no ditch lights. So very beautiful locomotive, but it's a very standard EMD or Athearn's rendition of the EMD SD40 and the SD40-2s that there's a lot in production through Athearn. So very, very beautiful locomotive. Just real quick one more time, I'm just going to have the camera real tight in on the locomotive so you can really get a good look at some of the details. Okay, I have number 913 on my layout, and I'm going to just run through a startup sequence here real quick and run through some of the functions. F0 is the headlight. F1 is the bell. F2 is the horn. F3 is the short horn. F4 is dynamic brakes. We'll try that here in a minute after I apply power to it. F5 and F6 are unassigned on this locomotive because there are no ditch lights or any other additional lighting. F7 is a dimmer. See the headlight dim. F8 mutes. F9 and 10 are not used. F11 are the brakes, which are they come default out of the box, not set, so we'll have to do that either with GM&O or my programming track with my Digitrax hand throttle. F13 will be the couple uncouple. So it's F14 is half speed and momentum overdrive. The rest of these, F23, are all aboard, and the coach door is closing for a passenger unit. F26 is engine RPM notch up, F27 engine RPM notch down. And that is a quick overview of the decoders on this locomotive. kicking in. Okay, so now that we've run through the sound startup and the functions, I'm going to take both of these locomotives and do some quick programming to get them set up so we can do some multi-unit running. Okay, so I have number 913 on the programming track, so I'm going to go ahead. I've got JMRI loaded here. I do want to have the caveat, this is the most recent version of JMRI. It was released early in 2019, so this might look a little bit different if you're running an older version. Let's go ahead and click on New Loco, read type from decoder. You can see down here it's reading CV8. Usually it'll give it a 10 or 15 seconds to pull up all of the available decoders. It's still reading. So I know that this has a Tsunami economy decoder in it. I'm just going to go through and get the list here. So we have looks like several for Athearn. We have a Economy Ready to Roll SD40-2 seems to be about the most appropriate decoder, because I know it's a ready to roll model. It's an SD40, it's not an SD40-2. So I'm just going to fill in some basic. I'll go back and edit it more later just for the interest of time. So I'm going to put in ID number 613, road number 613 again. I'll go back and edit this later. I'm going to go ahead and save this to the roster right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to come up here to the very top and click on the basic tab. I'm going to change this to a long address. Locomotive on the programming track is number 913. So let's go ahead and write the changes on the sheet. So that has now been successfully changed. Just a couple things I'm not going to go through. Eventually I'm going to go in and change all the decoders or the decoder functions to optimize it for my proto throttle, but at this point I'm not going to, just because I have another video if you're interested in programming a Tsunami economy decoder. I'm going to change the master volume. If you noticed when I fired it up, it was extremely loud. Back off on the air horn a little bit. Back off the prime mover volume a little bit. So let's go ahead and write the changes on this sheet. Again, I'm going to look here is we can set an advanced consist address. I'm actually going to set this to 100, and I'll show you this here in a minute. Locomotive direction in consist, I'm going to go normal. So I will do a consist here with these shortly. So let's write changes on this sheet. At this point, these are all of the function values I'm going to change. Again, I just wanted to get the long address of 913 in there, and I'm going to go ahead and program the other one, road number 620, do the same thing, and then we will be able to run these independently.